later on because we'll talk about it tonight. So our next speaker is Donna. Donna is very local and she will introduce herself. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Donna, the astronomer. I am an astronomer, so I'm proud of it. I've been an amateur astronomer for most of my life. I'm a Drover's kid, so I grew up in the outback of Australia. So the sky is my playground. And I'm sorry, New Zealand, but I do think we have better skies. So, you know, it's ANZ, you know, we've got fine. So I'm going to talk about bright times and dark skies, but it's sort of because from an astrotourism point of view, Coonabarabran advertises itself as the astronomy capital of Australia, and that's all because of this place we are here. And I see with the Dark Sky Park that we do have good times ahead. Actually, try to take it. This is a very old cartoon that has been updated thinking about giraffes. And one of the problems is many astronomers, no offense to the rest of us in the room, do spend too much time glued to the eyepiece or to their computer screens or things like that. And they miss that wonderful video comment. When I do my shows, I run Donna Observatory these days, and I've been doing sidewalk astronomy and various events around the country with my telescope, have telescope travel. And I find that people need to look up. The number one thing is when I'm doing our shows, we do them outside. We have a dome we finish off with, but most of our shows are outside under the Milky Way. And getting people to look at things like satellites, meteors, and you can see some spectacular stuff. When your eyes glued to the eyepiece, you miss a lot. These days, when your eyes glued to the app on your smart device, you miss a lot because you're holding it up there and you don't see things. So I politely request that mobile phones and iPads and whatever other electronic devices are turned off. Not because I don't want to compete and I don't want you to find out that I don't know what you're talking about, but because one, it's really annoying with the light, because getting light adjusted is very important. So I just thought I was really fine. So the non-astronomer tourist, isn't this adorable? This little boy came to my show the other night with his massive family and his grandma. He does like the world in a fishbowl on his head. The other 6-year-old, he was so keen. I had to literally, come on, let someone else have a go, please. He was just so keen. And for many people, the non-astronomer tourists, our mums and dads or grandma and grandpa bring their kids along to our night shows, to our dark sky parks, to look at through the sky with a telescope, or just to look at the sky. And just like Deborah said, people are scared of the dark. When I turn the lights off at Milroy, and I'm going to say that we're probably one of the darkest observatory sites around for the public, because we have no lights, we're on a farm, on a hill on a farm. And I turn the lights off and I've had children cry, which is very off-putting when I'm there to entertain. And, you know, I tell people the 2 goals of my shows are have fun and ask me questions. It's been the thing of having fun when people are crying because it's dark. But very quickly, they see why we turn the lights off. But this little fellow is a typical of the sort of person who comes along. Mum and Dad brought him along because he's interested in science. Look, and probably the reason I do what I do in astrotourism is because I want to get girls into science. I will put that out there. Because I am a lady, well, maybe not a lady. I like to give people science in a way that's fun. And they accidentally learn something. Yeah? It's about meeting those needs of people to come and visit and to learn, to see the sky, but to get a better understanding. I have to admit, nobody comes to my shows to find zombies or fairies, which I'm really, really glad about, particularly the zombie bit. You know, if you have fairies that are bugging me now, that's fine, but no zombies at my shows. But people are different. The astrology thing, yep, I run into that all the time. Everyone wants me to show their star sign even if it's down under their feet. People don't understand that the star signs are up all the time. Mind you, at the moment, Scorpio is really spectacular as a Sagittarius, so really good if all of those ones I can point it out very, very well. So the tourism that comes to Coonabarabran are normally families or great nomads who've got time to travel. They're looking for something to do, and we also do get more serious groups who come here, like amateur astronomers, which I will talk about in a little bit, because in many ways they have the vein of anyone who run public observatories like them. They know more than us. They like this stuff. Your car gets checked to make sure you open the door, the light doesn't come on. Amateur astronomers are far more serious about lighting than even professional astronomers sometimes. So why have I got a picture of Sputnik? Because I thought, since you're sitting here at Silent Spring, I'll give you a little bit of background on why Canberra is the astronomy capital of Australia. And it's because back in 1957, the lights of Canberra caused light pollution. When they first built Mount Stromlo back prior to the First World War, there wasn't very much in Canberra. Our capital city was a little bit rural, let's say. However, by 57, it had grown a lot. Sputnik went over in 57, and no one got a picture of it the first night. But some very daring engineering student and astronomy at Mount Stromlo took a picture with the then-up solar telescope, which hadn't been commissioned, which is now up here at Silent Spring. And that picture went around the world and gave Bart Bok a great idea. Bart Bok was the director of the research school at the time. It wasn't called that then. And he went down and called up Mr. Menzies on the telephone. Can you imagine if I called up the Prime Minister, whoever it may be, and said, have I got something to show you? I suspect that in black would be visiting. But that's what Bart Bok did. And he showed me the different studies, and we can do this with a little tiny telescope on a really happy slide, except I think he said a different word. What can we do with a really big telescope on a really decent slide? Unfortunately, in Australia, we don't have very high mountains. And until someone can get Gina Reinhardt to build a 10,000 foot high mountain off the West Australian coast, sorry, West Australia, we're stuck with the best facility here in Canberra. And basically, it's because of things like Sputnik, and that's why I think satellites are really cool, that Silent Spring eventually came to be. And I just thought that's really interesting. It was interesting. But that's what people want to know. The number one question I get asked is, why is Coonabarra the astronomy capital of Australia? And our lighting and everything else downtown is predicated on working in our environment and trying to send that out, get other people to cooperate. You might be doing things work on getting the dark side up has amazing and showing how that affects. So looking at the sky is much better with the naked eye. And it is. Looking through telescopes is great. I mean, hey, telescopes. But sometimes the easiest thing is just to lay there. I tell people, what sort of telescope will I get my kid or my grandkid? Well, don't. Give them a pair of binoculars, let them lay out in the backyard on the trampoline or on the rug and look up. We do shows down in the National Park during the school holidays. I get the kids to lay down and look up. Because that's spectacular. And for the folks, they don't get to see the sky. I had a Hong Kong tourist recently said to me, I've never seen the moon and the sun and the sky at the same time. I kind of thought it backwards because I thought everybody saw the moon and the sun and the sky at the same time. I thought it was a southern hemisphere thing. And I realised it's not just light, it's buildings. It's built up areas. And in Hong Kong, if you live in Hong Kong City itself, you actually can't see the sky. Not because it's small, but because there's so many buildings and you don't get the chance to look up. Now you have a group of tourists that are interested in eclipses. I had so many bookings for the last lunar eclipse for breakfast. I still have loads of bacon and muffins in my fridge in my freezer, thanks to the clouds coming in. A lot of serious astronomers get really mad when we talk about blood moons and blue moons and supermoons, but that's what people want to know about. That's what gets them in. It's not scientific. It's about getting their attention and then taking it from there into seriousness. 2028, you're coming out to Coonabarra and you're going to what? See the eclipse. We're starting to plan for it now, hey money. We're talking to our businesses about getting a plan in place because eclipse tourism, eclipse chasers are really dedicated. They might not be astronomers. They might not be interested in the night sky. But 2028, there's an eclipse that's going right across Australia. Yes, Sydney will get it, but let's get them out of the bush because it's better.
Goes right through your area as well.
It does. And I'm hitting that destination New South Wales up to meteor showers. If I write about a meteor shower in our local paper, little old ladies go out very diligently at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to look for them. I try to look. If I go to Woolies the next day or the next day or two and they haven't seen anything, Donna, I went out. How long did you stay out for? Okay, meal showers are really cool. If you're having, I remember the meal shower in the 1980s when the leaders was like the sky was going to fall. It was the most incredible thing ever. And so using meal showers to get people along. There's times of the year when the meal showers are better. And seriously, you cannot see it in the city. Mind you, sometimes it gets in the way, but if it doesn't, take advantage of it. Comet of London Stargaze is probably the most famous comet of the century. Comet ignored. I'm lucky I was there when he discovered it. Discovered a lot after it, but comets are very good. I mean, think back to Halley's Comet. People came from everywhere to see it. Scientific astronomy. Very big in the US, and probably my favourite activity. Have telescope, we'll travel, take it down, put it on the street, put it everywhere. I think we're showing it off. This is on Main Street in Barrow. I think they're looking at Saturn or Jupiter. People love it. They see a telescope and they'll all just come around and look. This is obviously Milroy, where I work. They're very popular. But we need to advertise ourselves, not just for the daytime things. We need nighttime activities. In Coonabarra, we advertise nighttime activities, but that's what we do. We need daytime activities. And we are so spoiled for choice in Coona. We have the national park, you can go bushwalking, you can come up here during the day because you can't come up here at night. You can go out to the political pottery. We have so many places that people can do during the day, and then we go out in the night. And we work together. And we work with the motels to make deals and do all sorts of things to try and get people out to our places. Smartphone astronomy, this is really new. Well, it's probably not new for most of you, but people all have smartphones. This picture is taken through my 12-inch Dawsonian handheld telescope with them holding their hands. Okay. This is done just with my smartphone. It's amazing what smartphones can do. You don't need digital SLRs, and every kid has got a smartphone, it seems. And you can take advantage of that. We did this at night. We set up people's telescopes, their telephoto things. We teach them how to do this. Auroras, of course. Okay. Don't ever invite me to your area if there's an aurora due. The aurora will come the day after I leave or the day before I get there. Places in the southern hemisphere so far, including a couple of northern hemisphere places, the auroras, I always miss them, so do not invite me. But people are interested in auroras. Take advantage of them in your business. Particularly those of you who are far enough south to actually see them occasionally. Astronomy is a really big business, and this is where the more serious astronomer gets involved. And this is where you really, really do have to have darkness. They are so finicky. They want little darkness. They don't want someone's car light coming on during their photo. You know, if someone goes to their car better be a long way from where the camera is. We want to hear the end of it. But they're the sort of things you need to take into account. The general tourist, the person who just wants to take the kids out and see the sky, or the person who just, oh, that was something interesting, I didn't know that was on, I thought they'd come along. Those are the people who you can really get into seeing the sky, particularly the young people and the kids. And that's where I see what a lot of us do in public observatories. So thank you. Now about 15 months. Oh, wow. I've been operating. Meeting, of course, probably 4 nights a week on average, but sometimes like holidays we run all the time, unless of course it's going to be value like I say tomorrow, which is my busiest night of the year.
What do you do when there's poor weather? People have collected and you've got clouds.
Okay. These days, up until recently, we've been calling the shop because I don't have a planetarium or anything. These days, we offer Plan B where they can have supper with the astronomer and we do talks. For some reason, people actually like sitting down talking to an astronomer. I think it's really cool. I mean, I get supper and they've even been taking up afternoon tea with people. It's really nice. Yeah, so we try and do that. We do
that Women in Astronomy, Donna, was a really fascinating night where we had some women gathering for an area. So yeah, so you had that if the weather was bad, so backup.
We had a lovely talk, yes.
Do you do anything with child groups or school groups?
We do a lot with school groups and tour groups. A lot of us actually go to schools. Because a lot of groups don't travel these days because of IHS and various other things. So we do a lot of travelling to schools, taking telescopes, say with the National Park, they come here, we do it there, and we do have them come along. And we do have daytime activities with solar observing and the like, and talks.
Great, thank you very much.